Welcome again for this Sunday's Gospel Reflection. As they say, in life, there is no such thing as a free lunch. Everything has a price. In olden days, housewives would gather round a peddler's cart in front of our house, and as a young lad, I would be enchanted seeing them haggling over the price of fish, clothes, fruit, or whatever the poor guy was trying to sell them. You could say it's natural. We all seek to make a bargain with life. On the other hand, haggling or bargaining can only take you part of the way. At some point, it becomes evident that what you get will always be tied to what you are ready to pay. Not just for some fish or apples or a shirt. This applies to life, to peace, to happiness. Real life is different from shopping from a supermarket or on Amazon or eBay. In our day-to-day struggle to survive, we all spend our time, energy, money to acquire what we need, or at least what we think we need. So we spend our lives working, toiling, saving, stealing, swindling the money we need to be able to fulfill our dreams or satisfy our needs. We call it earning a living or simply doing good business. This is our market economy, which is both the driving force and the product of our consumer societies. In other words, we live to eat because we can only survive if we eat. This is, of course, necessary. You can't avoid it. But in today's parable, Jesus shows us how not to get stuck in this necessary but enslaving way of life. He wants to reveal to us that we are made for much greater things. A man finds a hidden treasure in a field. He finds it. He does not work for it. He does not strive to obtain it. He simply finds it. And in his joy, he covers it up, goes and sells all that he has worked for, achieved, or possessed to obtain that field which holds the precious treasure. This makes all the difference in our lives. We can live our lives trying to survive by what we acquire or what we achieve. But we can live a full and meaningful life only, I say and repeat, if we can live by what we find. Our life journey will only be truly happy if we live not by what we have, but by what we find, what we are given along the way, without having worked for it. So many people remain heavy-hearted because they are overburdened by their worries about how they can acquire more, achieve what they think they need. And once they get it, they start worrying again about how not to lose it. They become constantly anxious about losing something, or else they become constantly bitter, angry, or grieving for what they have lost. No wonder their lives become an endless burden. As one famous psychiatrist once said, I see people walking in quiet desperation, living for something or someone you need is one thing, but living for something or someone you love is a totally different thing. The first kind of life is that of a slave, shackled, imprisoned by fear and anxiety, unless I lose what I need or I fail to grab what I need. Like the rich elderly lady I met once, whose house had been burgled. She spent the rest of her life locked up in her rich mansion for fear of being burgled again. The second kind of life is that of a free person. Their life is driven by love, by joy. It means toil, hard work, effort, but the burden becomes light and the toil becomes sweet. Like the young parents who welcome their newborn child. They say goodbye to sleep, to comfort, and all the dreams of a well-ordered house or life. The baby brings a disruption of their plans, of their needs, of their way of life. Yet in their joy they forget about all this and much more. They are simply happy because they are living for the child they love. And yet their sleepy eyes shine bright. Their meals, their dinners become playful and exciting but messy adventures. And the whole life is decided by the treasure of a child they have lovingly and freely received and welcomed. Yes, the kingdom of happiness is given to those who are capable of living by what they find and what they freely receive, and not by those things for which we exhaust ourselves, uselessly trying to fill the emptiness of our needs. How poor, how miserable are those who think that what they have or what they eat, what they possess, can satisfy their hunger and thirst. Jesus says they will never be at rest, and we know it. You put your hope in that new car, after a while you need a better one, and so on and so forth. Poor things, they have still not discovered what their heart and soul is hungry for. When we live like this, we simply become misguided, lost people, as you see in supermarkets and in shopping centers. People going there not knowing what they want, but they just want. St. Augustine discovered this at a great expense. After years of unsuccessfully trying to live off his many talents, his many achievements, he ended up saying, our heart is made for you, O God, and it will find no rest until it rests in you. After long years of empty misery, like the fishermen of the parable in today's gospel, Augustine had learned how to distinguish between the good and the bad fish, the superficial, temporary needs, and the one fundamental and crucial spiritual need. He learned how to discern, how to distinguish between the earthly and the heavenly, the temporary and the eternal, the means and the end, to distinguish between the cost and the value of life. Like Augustine, Ignatius also learned the same hard, liberating lesson when he gave up all that he had obtained so that he will live by what he found, the precious pearl, the treasure in the field, for which it was worth giving up all his noble dreams, power, and possession. Look at the birds. They neither sow nor reap. They don't store grain in barns, yet their Father in heaven takes care of them. Aren't you worth much more than birds? For this is God's will for you and for me, that we may have life and have it to the full. He did not create us to live our lives as creepy crawlers, but as magnificent and free, beautiful, soaring birds in the high heavens. Blessed and happy are we if we go through our life journey, relying more on what we find than on what we have grabbed along the way. We will have found the pearl of great price. God bless you and thank you.